Hello, good evening, good morning.
Hello, I'm here with Grandma Radical.
Get out of here. Hi, friends in the
Lovely to see
chat.
you all.
No kidding, so many everybody's. Ice Goddess, Plum Plum Plummy, Existential
Mm-hmm.
Gamer, Useless
Abastar.
Strawberry, Ice Goddess, Arbitrum, T Dot, oh my god, Nena, Expired Male, Enlightened Female, Missy Gloom. Hello, my goodness. Hello.
Thank you all for coming. Mwah,
No
mwah.
kidding. How are you?
Well, I said I would save it for stream, but I did have I was having a nap before this stream, and it was very stressful because it was about me not making it to the stream because I had to I was trying to log into the StreamYard thing and I was on a waterbed and my mother was beside me trying to play Mario Kart and you couldn't hear me.
I
I woke up sweating.
That's so funny. Yeah, Rusty always has late to the stream nightmares every
It's
time.
so bad. Usually it's like me trying to get to Canada and there's always like a test and they're like you have to eat poutine. Ugh. Or you have to like sing the Canadian national anthem. It's like fuck, I don't know, man. Shit.
Yeah, literally. Rusty having a stress dream always.
I'm so relaxed, Arbastorm. You don't even know. I'm so relaxed about everything.
How is your Tuesday shaping up?
Well, it's early morning, and I think it's going to be a top of 29 today, which should be
Ugh.
reasonable. It got to 36 yesterday, and it was a little bit sweaty.
Oh my god.
Um, so you know, it's not too bad. And I'm going to be working from home as usual, so can't
Good.
complain. Get to be with all my animals. I've got two cats in the room with me.
Nice.
Yes.
Good. I am cat sitting currently. I'm not really sure why I am here. The cat has an automatic feeder for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So
It's your emotional support.
I suppose so. She's not interested in me though, so there's that. But Useless Strawberry says, "Forgot you have Surfer Santa season."
Yeah, we do. We have we have two Aussie Christmas carols, which you should definitely
It's
look up. I
like
will.
boomers,
Yeah,
like boomers. I know that one.
racing Santa Claus through the
To the
blazing sun.
blazing sun.
Yeah, and the Aussie Jingle Bells
Oh,
is
I don't
really
know that
good.
one.
It's just it's oh what fun it is to ride in a rusty Holden Ute. It's like kicking up the dust, esky in the boot, and then the swaggy comes along, and the
Oh
kids
my
and Uncle
god.
Bruce are swimming in their clothes. It's great. And yeah, we have lots of Santa playing cricket with koalas, or Santa
Mm-hmm.
next to Uluru, or Santa at the beach making like Sandman instead of a
In his like
snowman.
Hawaiian shirts. Also, what I love about Australian Christmas decorations is like here we have like the lawn deer and they're like light up lawn deer, but you guys have light up lawn kangaroos for Christmas.
Yes, we do.
It's
I
so
mean,
cute.
sometimes people do put up the typical reindeer,
Deer.
but you want to get like your Christmas kangaroo out here, Six White Boomers. And
So
shut up,
cute.
Abestorum. That's not Christmas. That's the song Waltzing Matilda. And it was going to be our national anthem, but they said you can't have a national anthem about a homeless man who steals a sheep and then kills himself in a billabong. So,
Yeah, maybe not.
oh, yeah. It's what the
Yeah,
people wanted. Okay.
Australian Christmas is on another level. It's
Dude, when it
great.
gets warm, I start feeling Christmassy. Like,
It's so weird.
it was nice and warm. Like, let's put up the tree on December 1st because the sun is out and it's nice and warm, and we'll probably go for a Chrissy swim. And
It's so fun.
we always got like beach toys or pool toys for Christmas, and it
Christmas,
was
yeah,
yeah,
incredible.
getting the sprinkler for Chrissy. Yeah,
I love
there's
it.
no snow here,
So
guys.
cute.
It doesn't snow. That's a fictional
No.
part, like the reindeer and Santa's can fly. That's all made up. That's not true.
So cute. Good times. Oh, hello, Lily. Hi.
Hello.
Um, yeah, so this evening or morning or wherever it is, wherever you are, Um, I have like just a collection of screenshots I've taken of like Tumblr, Twitter, Reddit, various posts that I thought were good points to discuss
Mm-hmm.
or things that needed more discussion and critique.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm
that's what
definitely
we're
ready
going
to
to do.
expand.
The
Hell
people
yeah.
voted. Speaking of democracy, I said, do you
Mm-hmm.
want a meet stream or a discussion stream? And the people voted for discussion. So here we are.
They had to give me a bit of a handicap, so I have to try a bit harder to be so silly. But I'll bring the silliness, ladies. I'm ready.
Always. Okay, let me just see here. Okay, so let's see here. Makeup tutorial with Rusty. Imagine.
The tutorial is here's you want to place your bin, your trash can next to you. And what you want to do is hold it up to the lip of the table, and then you just
And
sweep all
slide
the
all the
makeup
stuff
in.
off.
Yeah. And then yeah, smash it all up so no other woman can be convinced that it's a good idea to wear it.
Beautiful.
There you go. Thank you for coming to my tutorial. Part 2, how to kill your boyfriend next week. It does also work on husbands. Don't worry. It's a very versatile tutorial. It's very inclusive. If you want to kill your grandpa, if you want to kill your uncle, husband, brother, dad, it works. I promise. It's a one-stop. It's a great tutorial.
Down with moids.
Yep, absolutely. Kill all men.
Okay, I'm gonna show our first screenshot
Hell yeah.
from Tumblr. So Radfem Verity wrote, modesty culture and promiscuity culture are two sides of the same coin. Both define female sexuality on terms of male approval and posit that the female body should exist as an ornament to either be put on display for the pleasure of men or to be carefully hidden in order not to tempt men, which is just as male centered because the woman is having to cater her behavior to the sensitivities of men. Both groom women into a constant state of self surveillance, either endlessly objectifying themselves or desperately concealing themselves.
Yeah,
What do
she's
you
right.
think about that?
Well, I think she succinctly like breaks down. I remember, gosh, in like the 2010s, I guess there was a lot of comics that would do like a woman in a bikini and a woman in a hijab or a burqa or just some sort of head covering veil, and
Yep.
they'd both be thinking about each other like, oh, she lives in such a male dominated society. She can
Yep.
only show her eyes, or the only thing that covered is her eyes because she was wearing sunglasses and a bikini. And people's takeaway was always like, so that means both of them are good. And it's like, no, you're both fucking slaves to the male gaze, to male desire. You are both titillating them. The idea that like it's very frustrating to hear like the idea is like, oh well, they're all covered up and I feel so free because men won't leer at me. Yes, they fucking will. It's just part of it's another male fantasy. Yeah, there you go. There you fucking go. There's the one that I always think of. Instead it was just like, wow, we could just dress normal. Indeed, like even like how men do, just t-shirt pants.
Yeah.
But yeah, both are bad. Not both are good. It's not both are an empowering choice. My God. Yeah, public property versus private property. We are the ball.
Yeah.
We can't win the game by continuing to be it.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved this post when I saw it because she's totally right. Like, it's entirely about what men are dictating for the whatever culture you're from, right? Like,
Yep.
pardon me. Existential says the male gaze is so inculcated. What does that say? Inculcated?
Inoculated, maybe?
I think that's probably what she meant. Sorry, existential. Into us from birth that by the time we grow up, we have the male gaze within us. There doesn't even have to be men around to follow it. Yeah, that's right. It's like, what's that quote that's like, we don't even see like women don't even see ourselves as ourselves. We see us through the eyes of men.
Yes,
I
I know
exactly
the
what
quote you're thinking of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's none of this like I do it for myself. I'm choosing this. No, you're
It's
not.
like not possible in a patriarchy. Like,
Nope.
yeah. Oops. What's going on here? Green Emerald says men never have to pick between sexualizing themselves or hiding themselves away. They just dress practically. Yep.
Yep, absolutely. And they don't paint their faces, and they don't rip out all their body hair. They don't starve
Hmm.
themselves. They just exist.
Yeah, and their just existing is like totally acceptable by society. Like
Yep.
no one's gonna ask a man like, "Oh, are you feeling unwell today?" Or like, "Oh, you look tired today." Like because
When are you going to lose that
men's
dad weight, that dad bod
right,
weight? The fact that there's a
right.
dad bod that's like, oh, he's kind of chunky, but that's kind of my thing. But it's just like, mom's like, so when are you going to bounce back? It's like, one of us pushed a baby out of our vagina, and one, like, orgasm for 30 seconds. Like,
Ugh.
who needs to bounce back? Really? Come on.
Mhm.
The standard
Ridiculous.
just, it's everything, it's everywhere. So, yeah, fuck 'em.
Ugh.
There's
Yeah,
no winning.
that's such a good point.
Yeah.
Um, my next one I have is like a little two-parter. So it's a
Hmm.
screenshot from a TikTok
Oh, boy.
of this gal saying,
Oh, shit, I know
I
this one.
hate posting this. I'm struggling to be able to pay with groceries and necessities. I have no car. If everyone who saw this sent me $1, it would help tremendously. And she has her cash up there. And then the comments, one says just be someone's wife, and the other
Mhm.
says make an OnlyFans like every other girl. Like that's where we're at as a society. Like either
Public property,
become
private property. Like,
yeah, oh my god. Again, perfect.
yeah.
I didn't even do that intentionally. That's perfect.
It's all
Public
connected.
property, yeah, become a man's property or become many men's property if you
It
need
does
money.
it does remind me of a man suggesting that he was like more on the conservative side. He's like, look, ladies, you don't have to suffer through OnlyFans. Get like a husband. It's like having
Uh-huh.
only one OnlyFans customer for life. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
do you not
god.
see what you're fucking saying, you dumb scrote bag? Yeah,
That's
just be
so
a sex
gross.
slave to one man. And he might not even beat you. What the shit?
Mm.
Yeah. Men will never be suggested to just sell their body. They will
No,
never.
never. They'll never have to.
Mm-mm.
And so the part two to this is this wasn't it Mary Wollstonecraft who said wives and prostitutes were more alike than they think? She said marriage was a form of prostitution. Here we see essentially two people suggesting the same thing sell yourself to one single man or to several.
Yup.
Ugh.
Same coin. It's no.
Oh, this is awful for Misery Gloom. Every time I was going to be homeless, every guy I knew told me I was lucky because I could sell myself or just get a boyfriend. That's
Wow, how lucky.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Like,
I hope they died. I hope the
yeah,
guys who
that's
said that to you died.
the whole thing. I think it was Gail Dines who was because she's like a major anti-pornography
Mm.
um campaigner. Anyway, I think it was her who said that something along the lines of when a woman is hungry, the right thing to do is put food in her mouth, not your dick.
Yep.
Like,
Yep, but men just see it as an opportunity. There's a really good comment by Mariana K. The only difference between trad marriage and prostitution is the length and duration of the contract. Thomas Sankara. So
wow.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. Ugh, heartbreaking.
Yeah, very.
Yeah. Uh, Expired Milk says, I love it when men tell on themselves. If it wasn't so common, they do it every second of the day for anyone who decides to listen. Yeah.
Hmm.
Enlightened Female says, heterosexual marriage is a way of selling your body on a private level. Doing any form of sex work is selling your body on the public level. Both are degrading, not liberating.
Yep. Agree.
So I'm just looking through the comments. Oh, hello, Lee. Hello, super sisters and lesser children of women.
Very
Oh.
nice. Very nice.
Plumpini says, Dworkin said it in Right Wing Women that the right wing women whose I can't read. My God.
That the that the right wing woman who's to be private property of one man, opposite being public property for all men from the left. Yeah, it's
Aha.
just the whole bird hates women. I learned that phrase
Mm-hmm.
recently, which is really good because right you got right wing men, left wing men, the guys in the center and the guts and stuff or whatever. Whole bird hates women.
Yeah. 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 Ugh. heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one of the like obviously I'm not in favor of sex work, quote unquote.
Mm-mm.
And it just drives me crazy when um like a lot of countries are currently talking about potentially making it legal, right?
Yeah.
And then that begs the question then, like if a woman is down and out or she needs to apply for like income benefits or call it welfare or whatever, um, do these caseworkers then have the recourse to just be like, well, you could go to a brothel and get a job there?
Yeah.
Like,
And that would be refusing. If you refuse, it's like, well, you are not meeting the compliance for us to give you financial aid.
yeah,
So
like that's
I'm pretty sure
so
that happened in
horrifying.
Germany. Like,
I
I
feel
think it
like
was Germany.
I feel like I've heard Ellie Arrow talk about that. Ellie Arrow is
Mm,
a wonderful YouTuber and anti prostitution advocate who makes incredible content. So everyone should check her out at some point.
very cool. But yeah,
She's great.
it's yeah, it's real fucking bad.
Real
And
bad.
every man who has ever paid for a prostitute or thought about paying for a prostitute should die. Should just be
Yep.
dead.
Yeah. Well, and it's so like people think it's like this seedy, secretive thing, but it is actually incredibly common.
Yeah.
Um, I know LA Arrow has posted like the results of like anonymous surveys where they ask men like, have you ever paid for sex? And like it's a really, really, really high number.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
I've
like
had oh sorry.
no, go ahead.
I've had friends who've worked like at as like in receptionist positions for those kind of places, and like the amount
Hmm.
of like high profile men that come in, all these men who like convinced it that she loves them specifically. It's just, and like here in Australia, we have the NDIS scheme, which is like for disability allowance, and one of the things that
Hmm.
there is part of the allowance is prostitutes for men, of
Good
course.
fucking God.
Yeah. They're like, well, the it's good because like the disabled men, like they don't like women don't want to hang around them because of ableism, so they should be able to like pay to rape women and stuff, so they can feel normal,
That's
so they can feel like all the
horrifying.
other men. Yeah, it's so fucked.
Yeah. Oh, that's so gross. Like, yeah. And so, like, my day to day life at work, I connect with a lot of women who are prostituted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they don't and would never call themselves sex workers.
No, I don't
Um,
imagine so.
yeah, they're prostituted or they are doing it quote unquote willingly to
Mm.
fund their drug addiction, right? So that's
Yeah,
not really consensual either. Like when
it's
you're desperate.
coercion. I mean, you're making the decision under the influence. Like,
Mm-hmm.
surely
That's a good
not,
point.
like it's,
Yeah.
yeah, it's coercive on in like multiple facets, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah, and
unfortunate.
certainly these women would not be doing this if they weren't addicts, and they wouldn't be addicts if they weren't traumatized, and they wouldn't be traumatized if we had a system that cared for women and girls, right? Like,
Absolutely.
ugh, it's awful.
Big
It's
time.
awful. Ricky says consent cannot be bought. That is
Hmm.
correct.
Yep. Very, very plain,
Sex is
plain and
not a
simple,
human
but
right.
yeah.
Ugh, women are
See,
things to distribute to disabled, lonely, or criminal men.
yep, it's just like I think I can't remember the full quote, but it was just like even the lowest man like has a woman he can go home and beat or abuse. So it's just
Uh,
like it doesn't matter the race, it doesn't matter the disability. It's just like, oh, like the disabled man is suffering, but he can go and beat a disabled woman. Like it's
right.
just women are always lower.
Yeah. Yeah, men might have some like accesses of oppression that intersect. Like they might be men of color or
Mm,
disabled or whatever, but like the male privilege, the male entitlement, the male behavior, the male socialization is first.
yep. And a lot of men, like their mindset for their oppression is just like, I want to be where the men at the top of the food chain are. I don't actually want to change things, and I certainly don't want to fucking change things for the women who share an access of oppression with me. I just want to be at the top
Mhm.
so I can abuse all the women.
That's right.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Moving on.
Yeah.
uh, this one. Cis Thought Crime says, saying I'm cis would be saying that I have an internal identity that matches my physical sex. I fundamentally reject the premise of any internal identity matching either sex. I do not have a woman brain or a feminine mind or a girl gender. My body is female, and that has shaped many of my life experiences, specifically because of the ambient misogynist culture of male supremacy. None of that is innate to my brain. The things I like or do or want are gender neutral and particular to my personality as a human. The idea that the things I like or do or want either match or don't match my body rests on the premise that different personalities are tied to matching bodies on the basis of sex innately rather than artificially. That is a fundamentally sexist premise at odds with feminism.
And she was so right for saying this. I think radical feminists being so firm on this position of like, I'm not cis, I'm just a woman, like all that shit
Hmm.
is just made up rules. Like, I'm just a human and I like these things because of this. It's nothing to do with my sex. I think that's why we see more gendies like arguing that like, well, a trans woman can still be a woman because he faces like he might be mistaken for a woman, so he could still possibly like face misdirected misogyny. And it's just like, I'm sorry, how many trans women have been
Hmm.
forcibly impregnated? How many?
Right.
Yeah, like how many? And how many are at threat of that? How many?
Hmm.
You know, it just it's very frustrating. But she's totally right.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It's just, yeah, and it's so, like, this has been said at length, but it's just so frustrating that the people of gender, um,
Nice. I like it.
that they insist that, like, behaviors are what makes them trans. Like
Yeah.
as a child, I liked playing with dolls, so that's how I knew I was a girl. It's like,
Hmm.
how does nobody see how sexist that is? Like,
Hmm.
how did they? Okay, if you want to go with that logic that a boy playing with a doll means he's really a girl, how did they know who were boys and girls before dolls existed?
Right.
Like,
Well, the girls play with the pink rocks and the boys play with the blue sticks. I don't know. It reminds me of a like I've seen multiple Tims like claim this though. Like, no, I did have female socialization because when I play with dolls and stuff, like the other boys would beat the shit out of me. I'm like, yeah,
that's
that's not
not
a
female
that's not
socialization. That's
no
homophobia, which is
or
awful, but like
yeah. It's
not the same.
that I didn't get beat up for playing with dolls, dude. It reminds me of another like I saw a TikTok kind of mocking this, and it was a gay man. He's like, I've dressed as a woman today to see what women go through, and then at the end it's at nighttime and he's just like, so I noticed that women get called the F slur a lot. And it's like, yeah, yeah.
That's a great one. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like, yeah, you can't buy it. You can't be it. Sorry.
Yeah. And they'll just never understand.
Because they don't want to.
Sometimes.
They
No.
they 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 could, um, but they won't because it doesn't benefit them. Because that would mean reflecting. It would mean pulling their heads from their navels or their assholes and like thinking about other people for like a brief amount of time. So it can't happen.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, our next one.
Hell
I've
yeah.
so the I'm not interested in saying that word.
Nah, it's
The
okay.
trans identified male is the perfect consumer. The earning potential of a man, combined with the personal cosmetics and clothing budget of a woman, and the healthcare costs of someone with a chronic, debilitating illness. The
Yeah,
perfect consumer. Like,
yeah.
that's such a
It's
good point, right? Because these are men, so they, on average, are going to earn more money than women do,
mm-hmm.
which they can then spend quote unquote as a woman would on cosmetics and clothes
Hmm.
and wardrobe and yada yada. And they're going to be an eternal patient for the healthcare system to also make money off of. Like,
Yeah.
what a great
It's
point.
like there is a reason, multifaceted reason why like the things that they say makes them a woman are all things that you can buy. One, because they can't buy being female, but two, because like I feel like that's why a lot of companies have jumped on this. It's like, of course, yeah, you are so valid, queen. Is that cash or card?
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Um, You'll be doing a lay-by purchase. Did you know it comes with this extra if you just do $10 more? You are so valid, queen.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah,
my god,
you're
you,
so
you
right. Like,
passed me that money so femininely. I couldn't even like it was like a woman just passed me their credit card. Oh my gosh.
ooh, you know what? This
Slay.
is something I
Sorry.
saw on the internet yesterday. It's in the opposite direction. It's about trans identified females.
Oh
But there
yep.
is now some company, I can't remember which it is, who are making tampons, and the box literally
Yes.
says for men, and it comes in like a navy
Yes.
blue box, and it's for men. And it's like,
And then you turn it to the side and it says struation. Um,
yeah,
but it's for
men
like, yeah,
situation.
yeah, it's insane that they got those changes. Like lots of women have always rolled their eyes about like the stupid flower shit on the front of like pads. It's like just make them
Mm-hmm.
normal. It's just I'm just gonna bleed on this. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be pretty. Just make it work and stop selling them without the wings. Who uses them without the wings, dude? They're just gonna fly off. Ironically, with no wings.
Yeah. Well,
But
and you know what?
yeah,
There was like a whole hubbub about, I think it was uh,
they removed the female symbol, didn't
the
they? From
Venus
the
symbol off of the
yeah,
packaging. And now they're
yeah.
making packaging that literally says for men. Okay. Hello, Adrian. Rusty, I love your work so much. Guy who tried to buy that copy of your comic for a friend in Florida, who you told me had already bought it. Aw.
I remember that. Thank you very much, Adrian. Hope you continue to enjoy reading.
So Lily, when you ask what are they gonna men are gonna do with tampons, it's they're for trans identified females.
Yeah,
So
but
but they say for men to coddle their feelings, right? Because obviously only women have periods.
yeah. And Lily, I'm sorry to inform you of this, but there are forums of trans-identified males
Oh.
discussing exactly what they do with used tampons. I'll leave it
Uh-huh.
at that. Yeah, it's only one place it could go, and they derive sexual pleasure from it. So, welcome to planet
There was
Earth.
a comment I saw up here where is oh, enlightened female said, there's a reason why all these trans affirming surgeons aren't trans identifying. Hmm. Yep.
What's this
Existential
check?
agrees with you, Rusty. No wings in the game for existence.
Exactly. Just what is the point? What I just may as well wear no pants. Really, honestly, for as for as helpful as they are.
I know.
Arbistorum is saying just a little ways up, just it's a longer comment. Check out A New Way to Be Mad by Carl Elliott for interesting insight in the way that transgender surgical desires are similar to body integrity dysphoria, people who want to become
Yes, it's the
amputees.
same
Yeah,
thing. It's the same thing. There are people in the world who believe that they are meant to be a three-limbed person, and so they
yeah.
must remove an arm or a leg. That's the same thing, but we would call that person mentally unwell. But
Mm,
somebody who says that they're not meant to have a penis is, yes, queen.
yeah,
How
yeah.
is it
That's
different?
yeah.
That's what I got my YouTube video deleted for. I got a strike for saying that.
Wow, that was very evil of you. I can't believe you
I
killed so many
know.
people by saying that. That was really fucked up.
Ugh, but it's the
I feel
same
so unsafe
thing.
right now. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
Ugh.
it literally is the same, and they can never explain why it's different.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
just like,
yeah.
well,
There
trans
was
isn't a
a
mental
woman.
illness, but I need the surgery, I'll die. Sorry. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, there was a woman. I saw her on Dr. Phil actually, who
oh no.
chemically blinded herself because she believed that she was meant to be blind.
Oh god. Oh,
I
that's
know.
well. Anything going near eyes is so. Ooh.
I
Um.
know.
Whoa. Fuck. That's yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the thing, like, just talking about these surgeons and stuff, like, when you think about, especially like in the American system, right? Because they're a
Mm,
for-profit medical system.
mm,
Um, like the average cost of a quote unquote top surgery is anywhere between five and $12,000.
yeah,
And these surgeons are doing anywhere from 3 to 5 of these surgeries a day.
yeah.
Like
It's
just
got to be
like
nice.
the
Their bank accounts, like, real
right, like
nice.
the incentive is there for them to keep doing it because look at all the fucking money they're making.
Yeah. And
Not to
on the
mention the
trans side, they're
complications that will need
yeah,
revisions. Like,
like it's just so like god, like even breast cancer survivors talk about like they get like phantom, not exactly limb because a breast isn't a limb, but like that
yeah.
phantom pain of the missing breast. They like have
Hmm.
such a reduction in the range of motion of the arms, so it's just like even simple things like reaching shelves and stuff is
Yeah.
limited. It requires so much physical therapy, and then yeah, if the stitching is done wrong, it's like swelling, and
Right. Well,
it's
and that's the thing
awful.
too, is women who have breast cancer and have mastectomies, like the level of care and detail in making sure that their incisions and scars and like the chest shape are good is not even close to what they do for trans identified people who have their breasts
Yeah,
removed.
I
Like
remember seeing
women
some
who
comparison shots, like where they
right,
leave some skin, or like it's just sort of like bunched
or like
into
their
sort of
chest
like
part
a
is botched,
yeah, like
the breast cancer part is.
misaligned. Yeah,
It's so
just
awful.
mm,
So
yeah.
awful. I also saw I think it was a TikTok once where a trans identified female was like saying she was like, literally can't believe my mom is getting top surgery before me. And
Ugh!
it was because her mom has cancer.
Can't believe my mom is like getting treated for me. She's such a b word for dying.
Right?
Like
Just awful.
fuckers. Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh,
And like they're
so
not
sad.
helping on the trans side because like I've been seeing like more and more cropping up like guides on how to lie to the doctor to make sure that they get you the surgery faster. It's like tell them
Right.
whatever you have to. I've even seen like they're like just if you want to get a hysterectomy, like just tell them like your period pain is so bad. Lie to them, say like none of the pain medication works, just keep pushing and you will get it. And it's just that's the crazy one for me because it's like it's an internal organ. You don't even see it, and you just hate yourself so much that you want to get rid of it. And this is healthy. This is
Right.
normal.
Ugh. Ballistic says here in Brazil, women with hormonal imbalances can't get laser hair removal via the public health service, but the Tims can. Their distress is more
Hmm.
important or whatever. Ugh. Yeah, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Yeah. Or I was seeing like I'm not sure how true it was because I sort of scrolled past it, but it was like it was the title of an article and it was saying that like there was women who want to go on hormone replacement therapy because they're menopausal are being denied and recommended therapy instead, so that like Tim's can have more access to the shortage of HRT that they have. And it's just like
Right.
Jesus Christ, fucking hell,
Right.
dude.
Yeah, the people who actually need it.
Yeah, because when women get menopausal, it's like they need the hormone replacement to make sure that their bones stay healthy. Because women are much more
Yeah.
prone to like osteoporosis, just like
Yep.
weakening of the bones.
Man.
Oh, geez.
Oh wow. An Australian Radfem who said she falsely claimed TIP status to get breast reduction. I mean, kind of
Oh,
good for her.
I mean, I hope her back pain's better. But yeah,
Yeah,
geez,
no
that's still
kidding.
very upsetting. Fuck.
Yeah, Misery Gloom says it's true about the hormones. Trying to see an endocrinologist is almost impossible now. Right, because there's been a 4,000% increase in young girls identifying as trans. So
Yeah,
awful.
yeah. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah. Okay, next one. So Becca says, real women don't care about being called cis. We have more pressing issues in life. And Kat said, are you saying cis women are the real women?
Ah! I was thinking the same thing when I read it. So true. I love when
Gotcha.
love when they play themselves like this. It's like, so you agree?
I think you're really pretty, like Regina
Yeah.
George.
Yes, I've even seen that movie and I know the meme.
Oh, got him, got him, got him. I think cis women are the real women.
Somehow there's no way to define like what female means, but you all know which one's a cis.
Right.
You can
Oh yeah,
define that category.
great
Um,
point. Great point. Somehow you always know which one is the cis. And further to that exact point, you can never ever tell someone's gender, and you should never assume someone's gender, nor
mm-mm-mm.
mislabel someone's gender, except for if you declare that they're cis.
Yep,
Because then somehow you can just know that a person is cis, and it's
yep,
okay to assign them.
yeah. Or
Hmm.
if you
Make
feel
it
that
make sense.
they're closeted trans or they're egged, feel free to just call women with short hair they if you feel.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Misgendering is violence until it's a woman with short hair and pants. They.
Yeah. Yeah, Ricky Russell says even a blind person can tell who is quote unquote cis. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw something. What the heck? Oh, so everybody don't cancel me. I
I'm
listened
getting ready.
to the podcast Trigonometry today.
Okay,
And the guest was Sal Grover, who invented the Giggle app.
okay.
Um, and it's a woman only app.
Mm-hmm.
That requires like photo and voice confirmation. Anyway, of course,
Nice.
the Tims got wind of that, and they can't have that happening. So she's Australian actually, and they're taking her
Hey.
to like not the high court of Australia, but the one that's one next level down.
Okay.
Um,
It's probably like
and
state court.
she is yeah, and she was saying on the podcast today that she thinks, well, she's certain that if he doesn't win the state level case, that he'll take it to the Supreme or the High Court of Australia.
Yeah,
This
we're not
one
doing
man who
so hot
calls
there.
himself Roxy Tickle.
Okay, sir, kill yourself. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a great like the podcast. Like people often critique trigonometry because they think that they're right wing and whatever, but they often have really interesting guests on, and so I listened today
Mhm.
because Al Grover was on, and it was a great. Um, why would we
I mean,
cancel it? Well, because people think the trigonometry podcast is like super right wing and whatever, and I find them pretty reasonable. So
mm,
whatever.
I mean, there's a difference in, like, I don't know, financially supporting them and just tuning in. It's just like you're supposed to
Yeah, I
broaden your
listen
mind.
to the guests I find interesting.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, yeah, I hope he gets shut down, but it's probably unlikely. Australian's pretty gender friendly. Like I think it was South Australia now, which is where I live. You cannot like lesbians were denied the right to have a female only event. And
yeah,
you're not
yeah,
allowed
they
to
talked
like
about that today on the podcast.
no events are allowed. I think Tasmania already did it. Fuckers.
Um, just looking. Somebody said in the chat to look at a photo of Roxy Tickle. So hold on, I'll
Oh
show you
boy.
all.
It's just activating my ick.
That's Roxy Tickle.
Ah!
Definitely a woman.
Oh yeah, so woman.
Jump scare in 3, 2, 1. Okay, sorry. Hold on. Let me close this. Mariana's saying Green Emerald is dropping some amazing comments. Why can't I see them? Oh, here's one. Okay, let's see. Green Emerald says you can never assume someone's gender, but how dare random people not guess Tim's womanly gender when they're wearing makeup and a dress? Right.
And on the state of you getting cancelled, I just saw Arbastorm saying, fucking, I don't want to put her in timeout. I just want to click on her comment. Fuck. People aren't used to exposing them. People aren't used to exposing themselves to volatile viewpoints anymore. Radbler and rad communities are not immune to ideologically purity bullshit. I definitely
Yeah,
agree with this.
that's
Like,
fair.
I hate it when it's you, like, the word ideological purity kind of like sets off my fight or flight because usually it's like, you're like, hey,
Yeah.
you shouldn't wear makeup. And they're like, well, ideological purity. But it should more mean like, you know, is not the best way to counter your enemy, to know your enemy. Like, so, and it doesn't even have to be, you know, they're not necessarily all enemies. It's just like there's a spectrum of beliefs, you know, among them. We can find common ground with other people, like, because political
Mhm.
activism usually works best when it's like it's single issue and you're aiming at the root of that. Because it's like if you get lost
Mhm.
in all the squabbling, like it won't be successful, which I feel like happens a lot more now because people are very focused on like, yeah, but this person also believes this and that. It's like, okay, but we need to get to the goal. It's just like
Right.
I think there's certainly ways that you can go like past the point of just like, okay, the enemy of my friend is my friend, or whatever the fuck it is,
Mm.
like where you're sort of
Mhm.
going for a common goal. Like I think that J.K. Rowling was right to shut down Matt Walsh when he was like, we should be allying, and she's like, you literally think that feminism is cancer? Shut up, sit down. The women are talking.
Right?
I know you are not associated with me. And I mean, like all the shit he says about like, you know, his whole fucking documentary is just like, yeah, women said that. Women already said that. Women already said that. Yeah,
Mhm.
women have been saying
But
that.
where are
Shut
the
up.
women? Where are the
Yeah.
feminists in this? Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Sit down.
Yeah.
Or he tried to like call himself. He's like, we're both gender critical like book authors, and then people were showing his weird children's book with like just the ugliest clip art looking ass art ever. It's like, sir,
Yes.
please, your mediocrity it's causing me secondhand embarrassment. Sit down. But yeah, like I do think there is something to be said of, yeah, you got to be able to branch out. You're allowed to listen to things even if you go in knowing that you disagree with them. You're allowed to do that. That doesn't misshape your politics. You're allowed to
Mhm.
learn. You're allowed to be curious.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh, so true, Arbiterum. It reminds me of that post that basically women aren't allowed to have a theory or history because we're expected to throw out anyone with bad takes, considering it all tainted. Yeah, you see that all the time. They're like, oh, well, they were second waivers, and they said, like, Andrea Dworkin said, like, she said some really fucking homophobic shit and weird shit about bestiality and stuff, but her stuff
Uh-huh.
about prostitution and misogyny are profound. They are fantastic. They blow your fucking mind. It's like, yeah, she was kind of insane and she was a homophobe and she had a fucking husband and called herself a lesbian and she was shit for that, but it doesn't devalue the amazing analysis that she made on other stuff.
Other topics.
So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, it's like you are never going to find your perfect feminist utopia woman. Like even I get it sometimes. We're like, oh, like I love your comic and like you agree with everything I agree. And I'm like, I probably don't. Okay,
Right.
I probably
And that's
don't.
okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and that's the whole crux of the thing with the gender stuff too, right? It's like I am a radical feminist, but I believe that people who identify as trans should have the right to a life free of violence and harassment, to
Yep.
good education, to healthcare coverage, to mental health care, to safe housing, to equal
Mhm.
employment, to dress however they want, to
Yep.
change their names if they want. I just don't think that they are literally the opposite sex, and that is not enough. That one
Yeah.
piece, all of the rest doesn't matter. Unless I
If
literally
you don't,
believe that a man has become a woman by a magical incantation, all of the good stuff
yeah.
I believe doesn't matter.
It's not a magical incantation. It was his womanly essence inside his soul all along.
Yeah,
Get it
right.
right, bigot.
Right. Okay. Right.
Um, yeah, but it's just like the thing is like how many of those things are already like basic human rights, you know? Like I'm not saying like the discrimination doesn't happen, but it's just like yes, all adults can legally change their name. Once you hit 18, you can
Well,
go
yeah.
crazy. You know,
Right.
you should be able to have access to healthcare. It's the thing that they take it is like, well, it's I'm not granted full access because I can't just walk into a doctor's office and say cut off my leg and they say how high? Like how high do you want the cut? Like they not how high are you to sit down?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I was gonna say something. Hmm.
Sorry.
No, no. What the heck was I gonna say? Something about gender stuff. I don't know. It's gone now.
Well,
Oh, there we go.
she's
Misery. That's exactly what I was gonna say. Ask anyone what
mm,
trans rights are. What rights don't they have? That's literally what I was gonna say. Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
Like when they say like
Just
trans rights are human rights or like trans rights now, like Literally, what human right do trans identified people not have? Name one.
The right to tell you how to think of me. The right to boss you around. The right to have it all my way right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Izzy Fox, Rusty mentioned that a moment ago that, yeah, the Lesbian Action Group put in a submission to have a female lesbian event, and the Human Rights Commission said no.
Yeah.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Good times. Okay, next one.
Hell yeah.
TERFs criticize makeup and romanticize bare faces because
Hell
makeup is just one
yeah.
of the tools trans women utilize to help themselves pass and is viewed as inherently feminine, which
You
helps
imagine me
trans
playing
women
a
feel
small violin here? Anyway, sorry.
which helps trans women feel more comfortable in their bodies. If they can get everyone to agree to demonize makeup, they can socially remove one of trans women's only solace and further other them from feminine spaces. There's nothing wrong with not liking makeup or criticizing the industry, but when the discourse comes down to seeing my true face, you're purposefully excluding trans women who need makeup to see their face as their own. Who need makeup to see their face as their own.
So normal.
Like,
My
no, that's
mind has
literally a
been
fake
changed.
face. Oh my
I'm
god.
this post, no, like I'm serious right now. This post has opened my eyes because for years I have been fighting for, against makeup because I think it's shit for women, it's a waste of time, it's a sexist double standard. When I could have been being fucking transphobic for all this time, I could have been hating trans women even more, and I'm so upset that I didn't think of this before this post.
Oh. But like where the OP says um trans women need makeup to see their face as their own. Their face is
Uh-huh.
their face. The face you got is the one you got. Whether you paint
Yeah.
it or you surgerize it or you filter it or you Photoshop it, that face is your face. So don't tell me that they need makeup to see their true face. Their true face is not plastered with gunk. Like the face you
Yeah.
got is the face you got.
They love all this authentic self, and it's just like everything has to be changed for you to feel your authentic self. This is such
Mm,
delusional brain thinking. Like there needs to be like mental health intervention here, because it's like if you are that like separated from yourself, like there is something going on here. Like you are your
mm-hmm.
body, you aren't like your mind piloting a
Right.
thing that isn't yours, that isn't right. You are your body, your brain is part of your body, it just thinks it's a little more important than the rest of it, but it's not. um
Right. Yeah, good point. You are your body. The face you have is the face you have.
mhm.
Um, uh,
It's like you are.
gosh.
What was the children's book quote? It's like, yeah, you are your body. You only have one, so love it and hug it, and treat it with love or something. It was like a children's book that came out, and the gendies were like, yeah, it sounds nice, but actually, this is dog whistle for like trans people should be killed at the stake or whatever.
Right. I love this comment from Enlightened Female. It's funny how TRAs always say you can't tell who's trans, but then they say stuff like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought that they didn't necessarily have to have big jaws and brows and whatever else. Um,
Yeah. Well, okay, here's the thing. Mariana says, if males want to waste their money on makeup, I support that. Okay, I'm going to counter this with saying that we should not support that
no.
because all of the major beauty companies, quote unquote beauty companies, are owned by males. So we're lining their pocket. So men who purchase that stuff
Mm,
are lining the pockets of these already wealthy billionaires. Additionally, makeup is an oppressive industry to begin with because what adds shimmer to any makeup is mica powder, which is mined by little children, literal little children in third world
mhm.
countries. And
Yeah.
the amount of what they call clown lung from the powder that is ingested or inhaled by these children
Mhm.
in these mines is like deadly. Um, yeah, we should not be supporting the makeup industry in any way, even if men want to give their money to it,
Yeah.
because the industry as a whole is incredibly damaging to women and girls. in the West and in the developing world, especially in the developing world, because
Hmm.
yeah, it's the little hands of little children that do this mining, and it is severely dangerous. And it's just,
I'm sure
yeah,
lots of little children or, impoverished women are also, putting it into the little pallets and shipping it away. And they're, I'm sure there's plenty of sweatshop work, you know,
yeah,
with the mines and onwards. So yeah, it's, it's not good.
yeah.
Um,
Mariana, so often I agree with your comments, but I just can't today. Um, they will still be males and they'll have less economic power. Not really. I think the amount of money that men might spend on makeup is not really that consequential to the disparity between earning potential of men and women. And again, like I said, um, wasting their money, okay, fine, but their money is going to already wealthy men, and it's going to the
mm,
suffering of female children mining for the stuff to make the makeup.
yeah.
Like,
It's voting with their wallets,
there's no
basically.
way
Like,
there's no way that it's okay to support that industry in any regard, in my opinion.
no, no,
Thank you,
I
Mariana.
personally, I personally don't think that gender affirmative surgery should exist at all. I don't think it should be allowed at all. Well,
Hmm.
I don't think any cosmetic surgery, and this is very different from reconstructive surgery. Plastic surgeons were
Certainly
originally meant to be able to, like, there's people with
burn
facial
victims or
cancers,
something.
yeah, burn victims, facial cancers, horrific accidents, who are able to have things reconfigured so that, like, they can breathe properly, or they, are not going to be socially ostracized because of how jarring the injuries are. It's not about, like, some guy wants to bolt G cup tits to his chest. That just shouldn't. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be something that you can get. Like, it's fucked up. And I don't think breast implants should go for women either. Even in the case of, like, women who've had breast cancer, it's just like, no, that's not conducive to your healing. Some, like, yeah, fake breasts. No, you don't need it. You need mental health help to accept the body that you live in.
Hmm.
It's a illness of the mind in the cases of true dysphoria, which a lot of them it's just a fucking fetish.
Yeah.
And it should, like, the symptom of this deep discomfort with your own body, your own sex is like that's a symptom. That's not the cause. So, like, changing your body is not going to change how you feel in your mind, because a lot of the time I feel like it's just going to move the goalposts. And lots of trans people even talk about this, like trans identified females, they'll be like, okay, well, once I get my breasts removed, I'm going to feel so much better about myself. And then they get them removed. They're like, oh my God, my hips look so womanly. I need to get them shaved down. Oh my God, I'm
Ugh.
so sick of getting my period. I need to get rid of that. Oh, I'm not getting enough facial hair. I need to spend all this money on hair treatment. Oh my God, like, it's just constant. You are feeding us a symptom. You are not getting to the root cause, which is in
Hmm.
the mind. So it's like, I kind of get the, like, yeah, fuck them. Like, you can do that stupid shit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to supporting such oppressive industries, it doesn't. The kickback on them isn't worth, yeah, like the little children in the mines voting with our wallets to basically tell companies that, like, yeah, you can keep profiting off this insecurity, because that's what makeup is for women. It is literally just women buy the makeup because they've sold them an insecurity, and women keep buying it. They're like, no, I'm doing it for me. But the makeup companies just here, like, yep, okay, so let's make up fat elbows. Let's see if we can get them to hate elbows so we can get them to buy elbow powder. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, it's just superfluous shit. It's I wish it was all gone. Honestly.
Yeah. There's always going to be something for women to hate themselves and spend their money on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I see. Oh my God, I've seen, like, these screenshots of, like, girls like, oh, this is like my sleep routine, and they put, like, a muzzle type thing on their lips because they're like, to stop swelling throughout the night, and then they roll these stones on their faces to make sure they don't get a slight double chin,
Oh
and
boy.
there's drops on their eyes and sleep bags and all this shit, and the anti-wrinkle straws. It's just like, oh my God, you are an animal.
The
Start
anti-wrinkle
acting
straws
like it.
was like
Yes.
a big, like, that's dystopian. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
So
I'm
scary
sipping from
to
my
me.
strawed wrinkle drink bottle right now. Bring on the
Your
wrinkles. Can't
your
wait.
pro wrinkle straw.
Yeah, 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 my wrinkles.
Yeah, those are crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, next one we've got. It's from Reddit. No, it was from Facebook. It's
Oh
a
boy.
group called a group where you anonymously ask for advice.
Oh boy.
And the anonymous person said, "Should I be concerned about my relationship? My 39 male girlfriend, 26 female,
Yes.
is about to
Concern
start chemo in a few
immediately.
weeks.
Sorry.
I know our sex life is going to change. I get that it's not her fault, but sex is a very big part of our relationship. I try not to stress her out, but I want to be honest about when I don't feel satisfied. It's going to be 7 or so months, and I'm nervous we're not going to make it. I also don't know how risky it is for me to have sex with her while she's getting the drugs. Does anyone know if sex during chemo is doctor approved or not?"
I think that killing your husband during chemo should be approved.
Is that not absolutely horrifying?
It's disgusting. I can't believe like he would think this thought and then type it out. Like and then publish it. Yeah. Men are on another level. Literally men see women as just like the access that they can gain to sex. That's it. Once you
And
stop
yeah, he's
doing that,
worried about
even with
the
cancer,
risk.
no value. Oh, sorry.
He's worried
Yeah,
about the risk to him.
yeah.
Ugh.
Mariana, you could be happy about men wasting money in other ways, like all those stupid femininity coaches and shit. All this time they try like to talk like a woman. It's like, ha, male. Um,
I know.
but yes, very fucked up. Hope this guy died. Hope he's dead.
It's
The
so
real
awful.
cancer in her life was this fucking husband.
Yeah, chemo is awful, and like cancer is awful, and then the chemo is like devastating to go through. Like it just is so
Mm-hmm.
exhausting, and it makes you sicker than ever. And he's like, "But can I fuck her still?"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like dig a hole
She's
in the backyard,
literally
dude. Bury yourself. Um,
Yeah, and
yeah.
then yeah, Ballistic said, "Look at the stats of how many men leave their wives when they get cancer." Yeah, it's astronomically high.
Mm, yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Ice Goddess pointed out the age gap. She's 26, he's
Yeah.
39.
That was the first time I felt concerned about their relationship. It's like first line in.
Like, what is wrong with men? The Y chromosome, that's what.
Yeah, it truly is.
Yeah. Green Emerald says, "I know women who spent years treating their 6 husbands, not expecting anything in return. Then men go and do this." Yep.
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 Baba Sturm also said my aunt's boyfriend left her when she got breast cancer. She's fine
Great.
now. And like even
I'm
before
glad
she was
she's fine
aware.
now.
Yeah. And hey, she dropped some dead weight. So the biggest cancer was removed.
Adrian asks how we know each other.
We fandom blog times.
Yeah. We met on Tumblr many years ago, and
Yeah.
we've been close pals ever since. Like what? Is
Yeah.
it like 8 or 9 years?
Because I was 19. I'm 27 now. So
Okay. So 8 years.
yeah, there you go. And
I
I called Radical. I said it's so nice to have an elder lesbian friend.
And I was like 26.
Yeah.
Or 27.
Yeah.
I'm 35 now. I'm really old.
Yeah, I'm nearly 28, so I'm gonna join you at the nursing home soon.
Yeah, and we've just like been like friends ever since.
Yeah.
What happened was we were in the same internet fandom on Tumblr, and
Yeah.
I
was posting. I was like saying over
cryptic turf stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Is she?" And so
because I was quite a big fandom art blog.
Yeah.
I was known as I've heard like like women have come and they're like, "Were you so and so? Or were you the turf that went rogue or something?" I was like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yes, that's her. And so I messaged Rusty on Tumblr being like, I'm getting the vibes, and like, are you turf too? And the rest is
And I,
history.
yeah, I think I said something like, I was trying to be a little cautious because I said something about lesbians, and you were like, oh, I'm
Right.
so glad someone is saying like this about lesbians. And I was like, yeah, don't get me started on that cotton ceiling shit. And you were like, oh, it was like Spider-Man pointing me.
Yes, exactly. And the rest is history, and we've been friends ever since. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times.
Also very
Yeah.
kind. Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah. Very nice. Thanks.
That's very kind.
Oh no, multiple people have asked what fandom we are
Um,
judging.
that
I
is
said pop
between
music.
us and God. That is between us and God.
That is between us and God.
Yeah, us and Sappho above, and maybe Andrea Dworkin. I'm sorry, Andrea Dworkin.
Anyway.
Oh, for us to all live together, we could do like a podcast.
No kidding.
We could live blog. It's like, hey, here's my morning routine. First, I kill 3 men that are my neighbors, and then I say hi to Radical. She's still asleep. And then I say hi to Lisa, and then I have some breakfast.
I invited Lisa tonight, and she was going to be here with us, but then something happened, and she said, "I can't come. I'll explain later." I said, "Okay." So eventually, it'll happen, but something came up for her, so she couldn't. And then Lee says, "Rusty, make a video called The Turf That Went Rogue."
Oh my god, no.
Rusty's been writing the same video for like 9 months.
I'm sorry. And my other one got removed.
It did?
Yeah.
Wait,
was
your one video is not on your channel.
My one video. So
it's gone?
Yeah. It had something to do with the links that I'd put in it, which was like, because I briefly mentioned like the sex robot thing, and I linked to articles that I like used screenshots of, and they were like, "You are sex trafficking, removed," and I was like, okay. I didn't see it in time. But that's all right.
Dang, and your one video on your channel.
Now the pressure's off.
1,000 views.
Yeah. But now the pressure's off, you see. I can take as long as I want.
Bye, Misery Bloom. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Good times. Yes, okay. Yeah, I will tell. Yeah, next stream we have, maybe we'll do memes and I'll make Lisa come. Okay, our next one is a two-parter. People really are like, how dare you place misogyny on the same level as actual bigotry? Like, I don't know where people get the idea that it's like totally unreasonable to compare misogyny to racism or homophobia, or to think misogyny is a serious issue. Right?
Yeah, if it only affects women, they don't care. It's just like, it's a little side, it's a little supplementary oppression.
Yeah, people will be like, how dare you compare the suffering of women to the suffering of real people?
Yeah, it's frustrating. It's just like, obviously there are times where inappropriate comparisons are made, and you should be able to like support your argument on your own without being like, it's like if you said this about X group. I get it. It's a common arguing tactic, but like, and I've done it too. But still, it's just, yeah. You know, it often comes in the. Oh, sorry.
No, misogyny is just so like accepted that, like, I mean, things like the word bitch is like quote unquote reclaimed, and like people considering it quote unquote empowering or whatever, or they'll just say something like, oh, this bitch or that bitch, and it's like, that is misogynist language. Like, you could never get away with saying this N-word, or you could never get away with saying that R-word. Like, misogyny is as bad, but people genuinely do not consider it even close to as bad.
Yeah. And it can be frustrating even bringing up those as a comparison, because then people take it to mean that you're saying like that there aren't people who like gleefully say the N word or say the R word. And it's just like there is, but like, you know, professionally, those are recognized as things like those can lose you your job, and I think that it should. But like being, your boss being like, oh, that bitch, like that would not. That would be like, okay, well, we're gonna have a little talk to HR, and then that's it, like.
This is a great comment from Plum Plumey. Women are only allowed to be oppressed if they share an axis of oppression with men.
Yep.
If half the population isn't real people, then I guess we can't be oppressed. Therefore, misogyny is not even close to bigotry.
Yeah. Reminds me of I can't remember where I saw it, but it was saying that like women being killed because they're women, like by perpetrators, like it's recorded as its own special kind of hate crime, because if it was recorded as a regular hate crime, it would like eclipse all others. And it's like, does that not tell you something? And it's just like, so often, you see people like, oh yeah, like he killed only women and he said he hate women, but they were just so random. He didn't have a reason at all. And it's just like, he's quoted as saying like, I fucking hate women. I want them to die. And they're like, we just don't know the reason. Mystery.
Lee says all the homophobia, racism, xenophobia combined is less frequent than misogyny. Yep.
And it's just like women can fit into all those categories and they still experience like also misogyny on top of that. Like, it's like.
Yep. That leads to this one. Insane how the first sin ever was a woman eating.
Yeah. How dare she?
Like,
I'm not super Bible versed, but I know of, Eve ate the apple and stuff, and like then she gained knowledge, and I'm like, why is that bad? Why did God not want her to gain knowledge? Snake was kind of based. Snake was probably a fucking woman as well.
But like, yeah, the first sin ever was a woman eating. Like, a woman, and the worst thing a woman can be is not thin, right? Or like to consume too much food or whatever. And the first sin ever is just a woman eating.
And it carries over. I think I remember seeing a compilation where it's just like, even female characters in movies, how often do you see them actually eating? Like really actually putting food in their mouth and eating compared to men? It's just like they might be sitting by food or something, but they won't eat. Like even, I think it was on The Bachelor Australia, my wife showed me an article where when they do all like the scenes where they're like talking and having dinner together, the women are actually made to eat earlier so that they don't eat on screen, but the men are allowed to eat on screen. Like, I could be misremembering that, but that stuck in my mind. I was like, Jesus Christ. And then I was like, yeah, shit, you don't ever see them eat. You don't see them pick up food and eat. You see them sit near food. And then, I started like looking into, like any media I watch, and I'm like, why isn't she eating? Eat!
Yeah.
Because it's still the biggest sin a woman can do.
Yeah. Ugh, awful. This next one I saw, like most of these are things I've just saved from the internet, but this one I saw myself on Reddit. I think it was on Ask Reddit or No Stupid Questions or something. It is baffling to me. She asks, does it restore my femininity if I apologize after cursing? I work in a male-dominated field. I'm surrounded by sailors and shop talk. Although around me they try to behave. I notice if I curse by accident, some men get wide-eyed, open-mouthed shock. It's probably due to my stature and gender, 4'10", petite woman in early 30s. So I started saying, oops, I cursed, I apologize, like it's a secret, and keep going with whatever I was discussing. Anyway, very self-centered, but for some reason it matters to me. The question is, would it re-feminize me if I do that, or once I curse, it's lost in most men's eyes? I don't like crass women, so maybe that's why it's important to me not to sound like one.
Thanks. It's real comfortable under this bus, you fucking doorknob. You fucking doormat. Sorry, not doorknob.
Well, and the thing is she says, I curse by accident, and then she says, I don't like crass women, though. And it's like, you are the crass woman.
Yeah, how dare you even think those naughty swear words, you crass woman.
Like, this is such a bizarre thing. Like, will the men see me as feminine again if I apologize for speaking?
Like, the brute is just, it's, the whole brute is down her throat. Like, Jesus Christ, woman. Yeah, but not the men. The men aren't crass for swearing, and they probably say fucking worse, you know.
Hmm. Rachel says, this is extremely relatable. The men I work with hate how much I curse. Meanwhile, they degrade women in every breath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love crass women. Mood, D dot,
Yes.
mood.
Very true. Very real and
Oh.
true.
Yeah, I have a really bad mouth too. I curse a lot. Like obviously I know when to rein it in when it's not appropriate,
Oh,
like at
yeah.
work, whatever. But like, yeah, I
When I'm around my grandma, then I don't
right.
curse. But then it's you could also be Kevin and not be like, ah, Jesus Christ. I'm like, fuck, I forgot that's a curse too. Shit. Sorry, grandma.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, this one just upset me so much. Like,
It's
oh, I
so
gotta make sure I
pathetic.
restore my femininity around these men. Like, what
Yeah.
in the
I think
heck?
I think someone said it kind of almost sounded like a fake fantasy post, but honestly,
Yeah,
there are some pathetic women in this world. There are some pathetic, spineless women
I know.
who are just so invested in male approval. My God, this is like secondhand embarrassment. Jesus.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Hmm.
Next one. You know how some cults will push their members to preach to strangers and annoy people so they get mistreated for being pushy and annoying, and use this to reinforce the belief that non believers are aggressive and persecute them so they dive harder into the cult? I think queer ideology mimics that.
That's actually, oh, damn, that's true. Fuck.
Hmm.
Huh.
Do share.
No, I was aware of the cult
Yeah.
like mentality. I was aware of this technique, but I've never thought about it. That's kind of true. Maybe it's not as entirely intentional, but I mean it kind of adds up, doesn't it? Like
Hmm.
the absolute outlandish people, like things that people say, and there is like a subset of gender criticals who have just like fucking had enough, and they kind of get like, you know, distance because they're mean woman or whatever, and they'll make jokes like, go make out like the 41%, basically just like go kill yourself sort of thing.
Yeah.
They make fun of these statistics, and then the gendies are like, that's all they do. That's all they just make suicide jokes, and they all want us to die. So I mean, it kind of checks out.
Yeah, I think so too. You see the like super outlandish, like I mostly I think about the Let Women Speak events hosted by Kelly J. Keene and how
Mm,
often they're met with a bunch of like truly unhinged trans activists who have neon green hair and are like screaming like to just drown out women speaking. They'll just like stand there and scream "Ah!" like at the top of
yeah.
their lungs. And it's like, oh yeah, when people like see that behavior and call you crazy, then you can be like, oh my God, they're being so homophobic to us. And it's like, no, you brought this on yourself.
Yeah, if it looks like a duck and acts like a duck. Honestly. Um,
Ooh.
Arbustorm reminds me of how people get mad at you, Rusty, when you compliment Tiff's art and are nice to them in comments. Yeah, they don't know what
Like,
to
wait a
do there.
second, you can't be nice. You're a turf.
Um, yeah, it's
This is
yeah.
Useless Strawberry recommends the book Cultish. That's good. Hey
Mm.
Man says hello to Rusty.
Hello.
This is good. Yep. Lola says, I feel bad for Tiffs because I can understand the impulse to want to escape the shackles of misogyny. Certainly, I can totally understand that as well.
Mm,
Um,
to a degree.
but, right, exactly. To a degree, it doesn't mean you throw other women under the bus, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think that's what stopped me, like, because, gosh, I was only like 15, 16 when I was having like older, be-gendered women sort of be like, are you sure, like, you want trans? And, like, do you want to, because they were, like, in fandom art groups, Skype group chats and stuff. And, like, are you sure you don't want to, like, be a boy? And I was like, I couldn't grasp around. I'm like, well, it wouldn't really change anything. And it's just like, and I would still have to hear people treat women like shit. And I know in my mind that I'm a woman, so it doesn't fix it. I would rather just be a woman who's going against norms. And I also had like a bit of the like, oh, equal rights, men hurt too. And I was like, I was like, oh, well, men would be more likely to attack me if I'm a man. And if I'm a woman, I can't defend myself in a fight. So that seems like putting myself in more danger. But yeah, so it never quite clicked. And I have thin patience for tiffs on the like, oh, they're doing it because misogyny argument. And maybe it's, I don't know, self-centered, but it's just like, well, I didn't fucking do it. I didn't cave. Why did you? Grow a spine.
I can understand that because like we all every single woman has come up with like grown up with the same misogyny and conditioning and socialization and coercion. And yeah, like Rachel says, we can never escape it. That's right.
Yeah. And yet we are trying while you are sticking your boot on us and shoving us under the bus.
Yeah.
They're gonna push you under eventually too. You're gonna step out of line, and then like, you know, we've seen the fucking rape fantasies of Tim's where they're like, yeah, we'll have tiffs on uterus duty or whatever. Like they don't care about you. That's not trans androphobia you're experiencing. It's fucking misogyny because you're a woman and you'll never escape it. So,
oh, it's so sad.
Yeah,
so sad. Okay, next one. Hey, we've got like 4 or 5 more, I think.
Hell yeah.
Trans activists. Cis gays are a disease. Trans activists. I hate cis slurs. Trans activists. Cis lesbians deserve to be raped. Republicans. I agree. Let's ban same-sex marriage. Trans activists. Oh my god, did the TERF see what they've done? Did they see the blood on their hands? This is all your fault.
Yeah. And they'll be like, see, conservatives use the term same-sex, so therefore it's a conservative dog whistle and not just a basic term that explains what it is.
Right? Like, this is just like, you know, this is a conservative talking a point. Like women just wanting to exist as women. That's not the same thing.
It has to be because we both speak the same language, I guess. I don't know. Like, yeah, these fucking.
Yeah, well, and they equate the same, right? And it's like we come at the gender critical stuff from 2 entirely different angles, and
I would argue they're not even gender critical because they have so many like dog shit fucking sexist beliefs. It's like, you're not fucking critical of gender, you just hate the phenomenon of gender non-conforming people, and you see like trans and normal people, their heads on screwed straight, who just wear whatever clothes they want. That's all the same to you because you have regressive gender beliefs. You share more with trans activists than you'd like to believe. My god,
that's so true. Yeah, they're not gender critical in any way. They're just trans critical.
Yeah, if that. And they're not critical in any meaningful way. They're just like, men should wear pants and women should wear skirt. Like that's the fucking end of their. It's just not right. It's just not the godly way. Women have a role and men have a role. It's like, and I'm like, yeah, I know. The trans people also think that men and women have the role. You can just choose which role you have, but there's no such thing as no roles because that's just impossible. That's crazy. Sorry.
No. Lisa and I have said this before, that it's like conservatives think the woman does the dishes, and begendered people think the person who does the dishes is the woman.
Yeah, exactly. Group scream, everybody.
Yeah, primal screaming.
Let's all go get the boxing bag after this. Oh, sorry.
When I was in university, so my degree is in mental health and addictions counseling. And when I was in university, I had this one professor who was like very in touch with himself and like very like earthy, you know, like drumming circle, you know?
Yep. Okay.
And when we had I had a 3-hour lecture with him every week, once a week, 3 hours. And he would have us start the beginning of every single lecture with a primal scream.
Nice.
Where the whole class would just at the top of their lungs to get it out, and then we would begin. It was great.
Yeah, no, it's good. You gotta get it out, otherwise you will explode, girlies. You must be angry. Must be angry women. You must show your emotions. Okay. I love the quote where it's like, the first time a woman bleeds is not between her legs, it's when she bites her tongue. Yeah. It's like, or a girl bleeds, I guess,
incredible.
even. Yeah, very. I'm like, yeah, true.
Ooh,
Except
that is a great quote. Who said that?
yes. I don't know. I'm remembering all these
First
quotes that I
time
see on
girl
Tumblr, but
needs
it's not from between her legs, it's when
is
she
when
has to bite her
she
tongue.
bites her tongue. Let's see if I can find. Well, maybe I have found
While
it. Hold
you're.
on.
Yeah, you're good. I was going to share a story of biting while you were looking for it.
Well, I found a quote, but it's not attributed to anyone.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Oh, no. No, it's not attributed to anyone. They say a woman's.
Oh,
Okay, hold on. I'm going to Google the words exactly.
you're good.
Say a woman's first blood. It's
Or maybe it's.
from Maggie C. Royer from The No You Never Listened To. There we
Oh,
go.
Maggie is based.
Maggie is based. She spells her name kind of funny, though.
That's all right. It's allowed. Oh, Maggie. Okay, I thought you were just
Yeah.
saying it with an accent.
No, it's Maggie.
Okay. Nice.
That's a good one.
It was very good. That's a very good quote.
Yes.
I did not have this problem so much. I was busy biting boys on the playground. I'm going to share my story.
With your the speaker.
Yes.
I know that.
So, like Australia has like very high rates of skin cancer. So we have like very rigid laws about like kids having to wear hats at school, particularly when it's like it's playtime, lunchtime. And so if you didn't have a hat, you weren't allowed to play. And the rule was always like, no hat, no play. And if you didn't have it, you had to sit under the shelter and watch all the other kids play. And this shithead boy took my hat. He must have been a grade or two above me. And he ran with it to the top of the monkey bars. Like he was sitting on the bit that you're meant to like hold with your hands, and his feet were dangling down. And I couldn't reach him. So I jumped up and I bit off his shoe really hard, and he dropped my hat, and he never fucked with me again. So I don't know if I drew blood though.
He was a feral child, and
I was 7, dude.
You were a total feral child. It's wonderful.
Yes, thank you. You have to be feral little girls, and you have to let her live by screaming now. You have to,
Yes.
you know, she bit for you so you can scream now. Don't betray her.
Yes, literally. Oh, you're so funny.
I did like, sorry. I didn't get in trouble for it either with my mother. It was like one of her based moments, like, because last stream I talked a lot about my crazy mom. But
Yeah.
she was like, no, you did the right thing. And then she told me about the time that when she was in school, now you guys all know what a drawing compass is, right? It's the one that has like a pointed metal tip and you attach your pencil to the other end. You draw a circle. You draw a circle with the pivot thing. So it's a sharp object. And so when she was my age, she was like, it's all right. This boys are horrible at that age. This boy threw a duster at my head. So I stabbed him in the leg with a compass. And then she was like, so that was good. So it runs in your blood. And I was like, yeah, next time I'll get him.
Don't mess with Australian women, honestly.
Yeah, honestly.
Biting shoe off.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't reach anything else. And I bit my brothers as well when they would like, we would wrestle. That's what they called cheap shotting. They're like, you can't just win the fight by biting. I'm like, I can and I will.
Rachel got in so many fights with boys when she was a child. No regrets.
Nice, Rachel. Hell yeah. I think little girls should be allowed to beat the shit out of little boys with no recourse. I think that's allowed. If they're going to have to be in the same schoolyard with them, I think that's the only equalizer, unless you have like secular sex segregated schools, to be honest.
Right.
Boys can have a pit that they can visit during the day. They can be dropped off at the pit, and girls can have a genuine education and a nice time, I think. Make me president of the world. Thank you very much. That was my presidential election speech. You can vote now. Text 555 to
Oh, speaking of boys, my sister's boyfriend is texting me right now to ask about what I think my mom would like for Christmas.
He should fucking know that. How dare he
Well,
speak
he
to you?
sent me 2 screenshots and he's like, which one do you think she'd like best?
Idiot. He should know. Fucking
Oh, speaking
dumbass.
of, I have to share this story about my poor sister who is so
Oh.
wonderful. So my sister, ugh, ugh. My sister is a professional makeup artist. I know, for like
F in
weddings
the
and stuff.
chat.
But anyway, she did a photo shoot recently with models and stuff, and so like the
Hmm.
photos are of like her doing the makeup on the girls, whatever.
Okay.
She got the pictures back today, and the photographer like photoshopped my sister's body to be so unrecognizably thin. It's horrifying. And my sister was so upset and was like crying at these pictures
What the
because like
fuck?
she's always been like a very like curvy, voluptuous, like a thick
Mhm.
woman, right? And the photographer, which this is upsetting because the photographer is a woman, she photoshopped my
Fuck.
sister's body to look like she was like 50 pounds less. Like it's
Ugh.
unrecognizable, and like the message is clearly like my sister's body wasn't good and this photoshopped body is the right body for being in photographs.
Serious?
Like,
That's so fucking disrespectful on so many levels. I was about to expect you to describe like, and then the Photoshop person like put makeup on the artist that she was already putting makeup on because we can't show
yeah,
women without
no.
makeup. That's like a 10,000 times worse. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's like side by like I so there was a video being taken of this day as well, and so when they take like a snapshot from the video side by side with the photo of that exact moment, they photoshopped her to be so thin. It's so
The fuck?
upsetting.
That's
I know.
incredibly, and to not even like have the gall to tell her that you're gonna do that. It's like if you're gonna
Right.
fucking disrespect someone, do it to her face.
I know.
Oh, that's shit.
It's so, and she was like really upset because she's like the message is clearly like one body is okay, the other isn't, right? And she's like, okay.
Mm.
So
Abba Storm just made a really good point about it too, as well. She said, "I think it's sad she doesn't see how the makeup is the same. The way someone
I
photoshopped
know.
her body, like it is unsightly. That's what makeup is to the face. It's so true." Um, yeah, it is unfortunate, but I mean that is the industry she is in. That's like
Yeah.
that
I
is the
know. Yeah.
commonplace. But she still didn't deserve that.
Yeah.
Um,
No, for sure. You're totally right, Arbastorm. And yeah, her and I have talked about this kind of stuff, but
yeah,
yeah,
I'm guessing
it
it's a
sucks.
brick wall type situation. I'm doing it for me. It's different. It's an art form. It's relaxing. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, I've heard all those ones before.
I know. But yeah,
It's
just
worse
seeing
when
and
it's
like
women close to you.
yeah, like when I saw the photos and she sent me a couple of the pictures, I was like, what the fuck? Like, ugh,
Yeah,
awful. So
tactless,
awful.
tasteless.
Incredible. Like, yeah, and the thing is like, why would you do that to a woman? Like, what if she really liked how her body was, right? And then she saw these pictures
Yeah,
and she was like, "Oh, should I not like my body?"
yeah. It's like,
Or
I'm
what if
sorry,
she's
my body is an
recovering
inconvenience to you. Like,
right?
yeah, sorry.
Or like what if she's recovering from an eating disorder or something and then she saw that and she's like, "Okay, well,
Yeah, there's
spiral I
so
go now."
many. Yes, so many more ways that it could be like even more damaging, and she didn't even think about it. She was just like, "Women are ornamental, and it's my photo, so I better
Yeah,
fix this incorrect woman."
I know, it's so sad.
That's fucked up.
Ugh, so sad. I'll show you the pictures later. Resting
Oh,
on
definitely,
everyone else.
yeah.
I'm not posting my sister on the internet. But yeah.
Sorry, bestie
Okay.
privileges.
Moving on. Um, Feminist Fangs says, Something I think that's important for all females to include in their will or final wishes is to request for female-only morticians, funeral directors, medical examiners, etc. Explicitly tell your partners, mothers, sisters, etc. that you want only females to work with your body when you die.
Yeah. Oh, I've just read. Oh, it just makes my skin crawl. I've read too many stories like that. Just men shouldn't be alone with any woman ever.
Like it's it's awful that you have to consider that.
Yeah, like even death, women aren't free.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen like the incel postings where they were like they should keep female bodies like for a couple days after and like offer them out as charity to incels so they can have a slightly warm body to lose their virginity to. It's just fucked. Men should just it's just fucked.
Yeah. What's this from Existential? The mortician thing hit the news recently. What thing? I don't know what that's about.
No.
Oh, this is good too. I'd be an organ donor if I could guarantee that only females would receive my organs. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
Or
agreed.
like, or yeah, or that your like uterus won't be like used for experimental transplantation in men.
Yeah, fuck no. Though I don't even know if I agree with uterine transplants for women. I know that they've
Oh,
done
yeah, same.
like it's so indulgent in my opinion because the uterus isn't there to help with your hormone levels or whatever, is it? Like it's just there to facilitate your entitled need to have a child. I do not think that uterus transplants need to happen. Absolutely not. There is no.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, my sister's boyfriend. I can't talk about Christmas right now.
Fuck off, Moid. Put me on.
Um.
Bring him up and put me on. Let's do this live.
Oh God. Wasn't there something about how in ancient Egypt they had to let the queen's bodies rot before getting embalmed, otherwise monks would rape them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think
Right.
I remember reading that. Yeah.
Don't you love being a woman?
Yay. It would be fine if men didn't exist.
Right.
Yeah, it's we got to reframe it. It's not our fault for being women. It's men's fault for being absolutely depraved. That's how that thinking starts. That like it would be better if I wasn't a woman. It wouldn't because then you'd be a man, and I can't think of anything worse, honestly.
Uh-huh.
Ooh, can you
Oh,
imagine? No.
hello. I'm welcoming Jess. She says she's behind
Welcome.
on the stream, so it's from earlier, but I hate the terms barefaced and makeupless face. Yeah. Our faces existing as they are should need a qualifier. What a great comment.
Very true. Yes, enlightened female, the mass shooting jokes, boys
Ugh.
making TikToks with their full faces and they're like, when the shooter misses you and leaves you in a room full of dead girls, and it's like, dude, you're speaking like a school fucking shooter, you know?
Ugh. Y chromosomes are so fucked up.
Degenerate.
Ugh, man.
Diseased.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. We got 4 more screenshots.
Alright.
Here's the next one. Trans women say they use female toilets and women never complain. It's such a male trait to interpret women's fear as consent.
Yep. Or silence as consent.
Yep.
Well, I didn't know. She didn't say no.
Ugh. I've talked about this before on stream, but I highly recommend that if you have a Facebook account, you join your city's local "Am I dating or Are we dating the same guy?" group. Because it's for women to share like stories of men they're dating. So in my local one, you can post a screenshot of their dating profile, just one, so that has their photo and their name, and then women will ask for like any red flags or any green flags or blah blah blah. Anyway, if you have Facebook, recommend you join your local one because you can see what the men in your community are up to.
Even if you're not dating them, which we don't recommend. We do
Exactly.
not endorse that at all.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you have a boyfriend, kill
Exactly.
him right now, and then join the Facebook group.
Yeah. So
Just
anyway,
know
in
that I
my
hate
local
him
one,
and he's ugly. Sorry.
in my local one, a woman posted about an experience she had where she was definitely raped. Um,
Mm,
she said that they had slept together before,
hmm
but this time he like forced her down onto the bed and was extremely rough and violent and blah blah blah. And
mm.
she was saying like, but I didn't say no, so I don't really
Oh
think
my
it was
fucking god.
assault. And I had to say to her, I'm like, in the comments, I was like, this sounds like assault. If you don't feel like you were assaulted, like that's for you and your heart to settle with. But you don't have to say no for it to be assault.
Yeah,
Um,
men aren't
and I was
stupid.
saying,
They can see the signs. They know.
right.
They
Well,
can
and the
like.
thing is,
Yeah, sorry.
yeah, no, the thing is too, like, people talk about the fight or flight response always, and everyone
Hmm
knows what that means, right? And they think, okay, well, I didn't do either of those. So, but what they don't consider is there's also what they call the freeze and the fawn response. So
Yes,
the freeze
yes.
response is where you literally just freeze and quote unquote let it happen to get it over with, or the
Mm,
fawn response, FAWN, where you like praise and like flatter your abuser to get it over with quicker.
yep.
And so it's not just saying no, like there's
Mm-mm.
a lot of different reactions that women can have during something traumatic. And so like
Yep.
I just wanted to like say to this woman, like, if you don't feel like you were assaulted, then that's okay. Like that's for you to decide. But just because you didn't say no doesn't mean that you can't feel like you were assaulted.
Yeah, and that's a. I feel like that's a very common thing among women who have been
Yeah.
assaulted. They're very critical of their own reactions to a
Exactly.
man's action, and it's just like the thing is that as much as this post is saying like it's such a male trait to interpret women's fierce consent, it's just like they outwardly interpret it. That's what they say, that's their cover, but they're not fucking stupid. They can read body language, they can tell when you're uncomfortable. It's like men perfectly understand consent. It was a post that was just like, if you were sexually engaged with a man and you tried to insert a finger into his
Yeah.
anus, suddenly he would know what consent was. He's like, why did you do that without asking? It's just like, well, I don't know. Your eyebrows, they said consent to me. I mean, you didn't say no. You said
Yeah.
ah. So how was I supposed to know? Like they fucking know. So yeah, women are way too hard on themselves about stuff like this. It's very unfortunate. I'm glad you
Yeah.
said something to her.
Yeah. No kidding. Ugh. Yeah. It sucks. But those groups are really fascinating because yeah, you can see
Hmm
what the men in your community are up to. I
Yeah,
personally
absolutely.
I have never seen a man be posted on there that I personally know.
Thank goodness.
Um, yeah, but and it's not all bad. Like sometimes like the comments will be like, "Oh my gosh, I used to work with him and he is really nice. Like go for it." I mean, you know how I feel about dating men.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
it's not all bad. Like sometimes it's positive and you're like, "Okay." But
Mm,
yeah, it's just good to
yeah,
know what's going on in your world.
yeah. It's a good resource.
Mhm. Yeah. All right, next one. Um, I don't think it's a coincidence that tons of white people started using some variation of they pronouns after BLM went mainstream in summer 2020. White
Hmm
people had to confront their privilege en masse, and adopting a gender identity was a way for them to avoid blame for their role in white supremacy and act like they face the same oppression as Black people. This is especially true when you think about how many white TRAs say that transphobia has roots in racism and reframe every racial justice issue as a trans issue.
Yep. I mean, I'm thinking of the compilation post where trans people
Hmm.
attach themselves to like every movement.
Everything. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wish I
but
could
like
find that post. I look
But
for
it's
it
like,
every
yeah,
now and again.
Black Trans Matters Live, or then just straight Trans Matters Live, Trans Magic, Trans Girl Magic, Trans
Yeah.
is Beautiful, from Black is Beautiful. Like, they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very.
I think that's so great too. But yeah, and also the point in here about like white people adopting like pronouns so that they
Hmm
don't have to like deal with their white privilege or
Yes.
like consider the ways in which they may have contributed or benefited from white supremacy, right? Like they don't have to
Mm,
face that because they're just as oppressed. They're just as oppressed
yeah.
now because they're they them.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme image where it's like someone putting a band-aid on a small cut and the cut says like white guilt and the band-aid says queerness? Um,
That's great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Um,
white supremacist in the past, and now she's a stunning, brave trans woman. That's in the past. That's in the
there's such a
past.
great Vice
Yeah.
documentary many years ago about I think it's in oh God, I don't remember, but it's one of the Eastern Bloc European countries, like
Hmm.
one of the Slovakias or anyway, one of the Balkans.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's about this guy who was like the leader of like the number one fascist um, group, gang group, like in that
Hmm.
country. He was like for sure a Nazi, like saluting Heil Hitler, like all of the above. And
Yeesh.
he transitioned and now he's a woman and he wants all of the people like the gay group in town, like the LGBT group in town, he wants them to welcome him with open arms because he's one of them,
Uh-huh.
and they're like, you literally beat us in the streets, like some of us are
Yeah.
your victims. And he's like, yeah, but that was in the past.
I'm a woman
And
now. Don't bring up my dead past.
yeah.
That me is dead. You can't
Oh,
bring it up.
but get this though. In the documentary, this guy says, yeah, but what you don't know is I was wearing fishnets under my pants. Like that
As I was
somehow
beating
is
you.
literally.
Like Jesus. Of course it was
Oh,
fishnets under the
okay.
pants. As he was committing
Vice.
violent crimes. Yeah.
I
Jesus
gotta find
Christ.
that. It was from like here we go. The ex neo-Nazi transgender woman on Vice. It's a half an hour.
Oh,
If anyone cares. Yeah, so wild. Oh yeah, this
yeah.
is a good point from Ice Goddess. So many sex offenders are quote unquote coming out. Yeah. I also saw a thing recently that was like, because the trans activists always cry about the poor trans women in male prisons. And
Mm,
um there in Canada, for example, there are more trans identified males in prison for sex crimes against children than there are like trans deaths in Canada.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Like there's
I'm
more
sure
men
this
who identify as trans incarcerated for sexually abusing children than there are trans murders. Like, oh
yeah.
my god.
That aren't often ever like related to them being trans either. It's just like drug overdose. It died because trans. No, heroin works the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't discriminate. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
Insane. Insane. Okay, next one. So, gender affirming care or medical transitioning is not medical because transness is not a medical condition, and gender dysphoria is not a requirement to be trans. And it's not
Hmm.
cosmetic because it's very important and potentially life saving. It can't be limited to just being seen as cosmetic. Which is it then? It's not medical nor cosmetic, it's just necessary for the person to be their true self. Why is that person's true self behind a paywall? Why does that person's true self need surgery? I thought that
Yeah.
was such a good post.
It really gets to the crux of the issue. It's back to the thing where they're like, trans rights are human rights. What rights don't you have that the rest of us do? Like, like we don't have a special third surgery of just, well, I really, really want it. And I want it now. Like that's the secret third surgery that's not cosmetic or medical. It's just fucking suicide baiting. If you don't give it to me, I'll kill myself. Yeah, that sounds like that there may be a mental component to it then. No, it's not a mental disorder, then why do you need it?
Right. Is it cosmetic or not cosmetic or life saving or what? Like, what is the.
I just don't want to have to confront any insecurities that I have about myself. I don't want to have to change my mind about anything. I just want everyone to do as whatever I say all the time. Trans rights, human rights. Except the rest of you don't get these rights. This is just for trans.
Right. They want the right to be privileged, as Julie says. Hello, Julie.
Yeah, but don't you dare call them privileged, okay? They are so oppressed.
Right. Oy. Okay, last one. I wanted to end on a slightly high note.
Hell yeah.
I mean, it's not a super high note, but it is it's a great point. Abortion is hated because people can't accept that women are ultimately the ones who decide who gets to exist and who doesn't. Not their god, not male terrorist regime rules, it's women. The same women society degrades despite being built and born from one.
Yep. Yeah, they
Ugh.
really don't like that. Um, Abort that thing. That's like my favorite phrase on Tumblr right now. It's like, oh my god, girl, abort that thing.
This is such a good point, though. Like,
It really is.
women get to decide, not men. Like, well, except for in the world we live in right now, but
Of course.
ultimately, it's women hold all of the power to life and death,
Mm.
and men will do anything to suppress that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, because they feel very inferior. It's kind of like how, fatherhood is really a socially constructed, role, because you need
Yeah,
a special test to be able to tell who's the father. But it's just like, you don't need a test for the mother. It's just like, yeah, I was fucking there. I watched it happen, dude. Um, there's no question about it.
that's right.
um,
Yeah, there is nothing to becoming a father. You just
yeah.
orgasm. That's it.
Yeah. And it's why they're so insistent and they feel so degraded when like women won't take their names and stuff, and like so many naming conventions throughout the world will be like you take your
Yeah,
father's name in some form or
patrilineal.
another. Yeah, patrilineal naming conventions where it makes much more sense to just do it with women because like just from like a scientifically, back tracing history would just be easier because there's
Mhm.
just one through line. You don't got to weave and waddle with all the fucking men wiggling around.
Right.
Yes. Um yeah, men are weak, their egos are weak.
Yeah, big time. I yeah. Let's see. Existential says, wasn't it Dworkin who said that men get existential angst over the thought of abortion because they imagine themselves being aborted, whereas for women it's just part of our bodies?
Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably they were probably the ones to start that, like the anti-abortion argument. Like, well, what if you had been aborted? What if your mom had aborted you? It's
I
like,
wouldn't
well,
know any better.
yeah,
Like,
I wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be having to listen to you say this bullshit right now. And also, it would mean that my mom didn't want me. So, like, if I found out that my mom didn't want me, she didn't plan to have me, she didn't want to be
right.
pregnant, but she was forced, that would fuck me up so bad. I would much rather she aborted me if she didn't want me. Like,
Yeah.
that's, yeah.
Yeah, it drives me nuts when people say, "Well, what if you had been aborted?" Like, I literally wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Like, it would be
We're
nothing.
discussing, yeah, we're
It would be the
discussing
same as
theoreticals.
before I was born. It was
Yeah,
nothing.
exactly. I wouldn't be sad because I wouldn't know. And I didn't have thoughts and feelings when she aborted me. She didn't just birth a baby and stab it to death. Like it was just some cells. It's whatever. My God.
Yeah. Existential says matrilineal lines are the only logical lines, especially before DNA. There's never any question about which baby came from which women.
No, exactly,
Literally.
because they know they're not gonna lie.
Right.
They had to go through excruciating birth. It's something that I think you don't forget.
Yeah. Ridiculous. So, yeah, that was my last one. My little,
Thank you for
last little
compiling
one.
them. You did a great job. I always just show up to these streams.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, now I can clear out my screenshots folder and start again
Phew. Yeah, I
for
should probably
next
do
time.
that. I screenshot things without abandon and don't think about it. I think I've got like 1,900 screenshots on my phone right now. Oh,
Yeah.
Lily, you're too kind. Thank you.
Ugh. Yes,
I also
Rusty is a superstar. I love having Rusty
oh,
here.
blush. Always happy to come on board. I guess if you have any questions specifically for me while we're here at the end, go for it.
Yeah, for
Sleep well,
sure.
Lee.
Oh, thanks, Lee. Good night. Thank you.
Wait, what am I sharing? Plum Plummy?
Thanks, Adrian. Rusty is awesome. Yeah, what is Rusty sharing?
Yeah, what am I sharing?
Oh, your screenshots, I think she means.
Oh, oh, they're not like all like they're just things that like it'll just be like funny things I find, just things I find. They're not like all like radical feminist themed.
Right.
Just like,
Yeah.
oh, that gave me a giggle. Save for later.
And never look at it again.
Yeah, basically. So I never want to fully delete them. So when my phone gets full, I have a folder on my computer that's also called screenshots, and it probably has like 10,000 in there. I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe I need to save it for later, so I'll just put it in here and maybe I'll come back to it. And I never do.
Exactly. I know I have so many screenshots on my phone and I'm like, yeah, save this for later, and then I just never do.
Damn you, entitled gamer. Fuck you.
Nar.
I didn't even say Nara this video.
You just did right now. Love you.
It's not that strong, okay? You're hearing an R that isn't there. I'm saying no, and you guys are hearing nar. No,
That's because
nar.
that's what you're saying.
No!
What's that? There's a thing going around TikTok right now that's like saying like rest and relaxation R&R is like an Australian saying oh no. R&R.
Oh, fuck off! Fuck off! I said it in my head, R&R. No! I'm being bullied! You guys are so Aussie-phobic right now. I'm not going to invite you to the barbecue.
Literally the same.
No, it's not. No.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, my face hurts from laughing.
I'm crying. I'm literally shaking. I'm so in danger. You guys are so violent.
Up right now.
Yeah, I'm typing verbally. No, so many no. Plum Plumie, you're on the thin ice.
So
thank you, Minka. Thank you for coming to my defense. You're a real one.
Oh man, that was so good.
No, I'm boomerang fluid because my gender like goes back and forth, but it always comes back to me.
Always comes back.
Yeah.
Good times.
No, I was not wrong. No, I was still. Don't make me say it again.
She was wrong.
You know the villain, the monkey villain from the Powerpuff Girls. I'm gonna do it once.
I don't know who. Yeah, I never seen the Powerpuff Girls.
This is how his name is pronounced. I'm typing it.
Okay.
Mar Jar Jar Jar.
Mar Jar Jar Jar.
Mar Jar Jar Jar.
That's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well. May I say what was it? W2 form that makes you sound like a Texan. So yeah. Who's the real loser?
Okay, for me, like with my accent, I always can get clocked as being Canadian.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know. Well, sorry for that one. I say sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Not sorry. Like
sorry.
Sorry. And then also the way I say like a plastic bag.
Oh, bag.
Yeah, and Americans say bag. Bag. And I say, oh, toque. Now say toque.
Okay, I thought that was tark.
No, it's toque.
Is that what you call beanies?
Yes.
Like the warm woolen hat?
That's a toque.
Tark. Yeah, and bag.
Yeah, bag.
Let me put this in my bag. Let me put this milk in my bag.
My bag.
Bag.
Yeah.
Bagel?
Bagel, yeah.
Coffee.
Coffee. Walking
Coffee.
Yes, I
Yeah.
say bag, not bag.
Yeah, get her. Get her for being crayon. Oh yeah, say crayon.
Crayon.
Yeah,
Americans
okay.
say crayon.
Oh. What?
So weird.
Crayon?
It's crayon.
Yeah, crayon.
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 Yeah, it's crayon.
Do you
Do
like
you like
dags?
dags? That's from a movie. What's that movie called? Brad Pitt. Snatch, I think it's called. Do you like dags?
That's not fair, Arbastorm. I thought it was pronounced peckin.
I think I say pecan, but Americans say pecan, I think.
Oh. I didn't know what it was. I had only been exposed to the notion of a pecan pie
Yeah, pecan pie.
from SpongeBob, okay? And there's a joke, they're trying to make the Texas character make her feel at home, so they made a pecan pie. And the visual gag is like it's a can of peas in a pie. And as a child, I didn't know that a pecan was a different food, so I was like, "Oh, the joke is they didn't pour the peas in and remove the can." So I didn't know that the pecan was a different thing.
It's very American. I have never ever had or even seen a pecan pie in
Yeah, well, they have
Canada.
all they have like sweet pies there, whereas here the Aussie staple is the meat pie. It's full of
Right.
mincemeat.
Would you call like what we call pies? Would you call that like
We
a
call it,
tart?
yeah, it's hard. It'd be like, a caramel tart, a custard
Right.
tart. It's not a pie.
Yeah, we say it's a pie.
Buttercup.
I always have apple pie on my birthday instead of birthday cake because I don't like cake.
Ugh. Ugh. I don't like apple pie. I don't think apple should be cooked. I think that's wrong.
Oh, it's so nice.
It's all mushy. Apple should be crisp.
With some vanilla ice cream. Oh,
Ugh.
warmed up apple pie with vanilla ice cream.
Oh, no, not cold and hot on the same. Not cold and hot on the same thing. Ice cream should be cold. No
so
hot
nice.
stuff touching it. That's
the contrast of a hot bite of pie with cold ice cream is so good.
Apple fritter. Ugh. We have pineapple fritters here.
What?
We have pineapple. Yeah, we have pineapple fritters here, but they are also disgusting. My wife loves them. Yeah, it's like I think it's like pineapple and it's like fried and then put in like batter and stuff or something. I don't know.
That's okay. Yeah.
But we put pineapple in our burgers, like just.
Oh, I love a pineapple on anything, pretty much.
Yeah, yeah, it's all right on burger. A pineapple with beetroot on burger. But it's gotta be fresh. None of this fritter shit.
Yeah.
We do have a drink called the Spider Plum Plumie, but it's where you put like fizzy drink, soda. Yeah, fizzy drink is what we call it here, with ice cream on top.
We would call that a float.
Oh, no, we're like Spider. Don't know why.
Oh no, Lily asks on pizza. Yes, I like Hawaiian pizza, which was invented in Canada.
Oh, that's nice. Why is it called Hawaiian then?
Because it's got pineapples on it.
I guess, but I like pineapple on pizza too.
Hawaiian pizza.
Yeah.
Yum.
It's nice. It has like a nice like burst of like tangy sweetness between like it breaks up the meat. You know? It's really good. Nice. I mean, I'll also take a classic pepperoni, but yeah. Should we order like a pizza for everybody? We have pizza party.
Slumber party night.
There will be no pillow fighting in underwear. My God.
No.
I've never done that at a sleepover.
Nor have I.
We'd be like, oh God, we like sit around after bedtime in the dark and be like, what's the most fucked up thing that's ever happened to you? Stuff like that. I was always designated shoulder rubber because apparently I was quite good at giving shoulder rubbers. So like, all these girls would be like taking it like, wow, Rusty, like you have really strong hands. And I'd be like, thank you. I'm not sure why I like this. I'm 11. But it sure is nice when girls compliment me.
Girls summoning demons.
Oh my God.
Literally Ouija boards.
Yeah.
Or did you, when you were a young gal, Did you guys
Mhm.
have like the sleepover games where you would like you have to go into the dark bathroom and look in the dark mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times
No, we
to
were
summon
not that
her?
hardcore.
Oh,
We explored an open sewer drain once, but no summoning demons, just normal stuff.
yeah, doing yes. Lily says yes. Yeah, no kidding. The Bloody Mary one, I never ever have done, and to this day, I'm still a little bit scared that if it could really maybe happen.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't fuck with that. She could be
I'm
real.
not. Yes, exactly. Existential. I chickened out too. I've never ever done it, but it was always like the sleepover game to summon her.
I agree, Arbastorm. I like seeing where the sewers would go because we had like a big square cement thing and you could go down in it and there was two drains and we would like try and see if they met and so we would go crawling in the sewer drains and stuff. Or we had a creek in the backyard, so we like tried to make like a raft that would float. Lots,
Oh
just girl
yes.
stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Sleeping bags on a trampoline.
Yes, slumber parties and attempting to levitate one of us. Yeah, light as a feather, stiff as a
Oh,
board. That's another slumber party game.
oh, that's
Witchcraft.
interesting.
It's
Oh, I
in
like it. That's
girls'
so
genes.
cute. We also went on the
Yeah.
roof quite a lot. I feel like it was just a thing that kids did back then, climb on the roof. Um,
Oh,
whenever we
totally.
came
I would do that as well.
to, like we moved a lot when I was a kid, so it was always like, oh boy, I hope we're moving to a house where we can get on the roof to walk around. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, listen, men don't have any idea how feral and witchy girls are. Literally, when I was a kid, so in the house that I lived in until I was 11, my bedroom was like on the upstairs level.
Hmm.
And so I would frequently crawl out my window. Um, and it was like a story above ground. So what
Oh
I would
god.
do is I would crawl out my window and I would hang from my fingertips off the
Oh
windowsill and drop to the ground because if I hung there, then the drop wasn't that far as if it was if I jumped.
my god.
Yes.
Oh
Because I
jeez.
wanted. And then
I
to get
I'm
back in, I would I would put the ladder up against the side of the house and climb back up in, and my parents
little
never ever knew
rebel.
that I did that.
Wow. We I'm saying oh my gosh, but we had a carport, like a sheltering bit for your car to go under, but it was like open at the sides. We would jump from that like onto the trampoline and stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta
Yes.
like I had to
Oh.
learn the hard way not to like you never go knee first, bending your knees to like knead myself in the stomach. My God. And then just went off the trampoline. It's amazing we didn't die.
I know. I think about that too. Like my aunt had a trampoline, and like
Mhm.
my two older boy cousins would double bounce us all the time, and I'm like,
Yes,
why
it
are you
goes so high.
here? And then you'd come back down, and like, oh my god, like how
Our
did you
game
not
would
become seriously injured and die as children?
break our fucking necks. Our
I
favorite,
was
oh sorry,
yeah. No, go for
oh,
it.
I was gonna say our favorite game because we had a rectangular trampoline, so we would turn it on
Oh.
its side, so it was like it was resting on its leg, sort of like you would put a picture frame, so it was on a slight slant,
Uh-huh.
and we would run at it and try and climb the trampoline to reach the top and knock it over. and, we, and we'd like do it long ways too. Like once we got used to it, like, yeah, it's kind of easy. Let's make it taller, turn it on its long side, and just like
Oh
go.
my god, that is hysterical. That
Yeah.
is so funny.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god, other story.
I got double bounced off of our trampoline once, landed flat on my stomach. Oh,
Yeah, you just
I
feel a
was
bit
like,
winded.
literally, I was like a total feral child, and like I think about like if like I have no desire to have children, but if I did, like I would never allow my children to do the shit I used to do as a
No, I'd be
kid.
wrapping them
Like
in bubble wrap.
as a child in the summertime, like my best friend lived across the street from me, and so literally we would be like outside riding our bikes from like 8:30 in the morning until 10 at night, and our parents like would never know
God.
where we were. Like you
Oh my
just as long as
gosh.
you come home when the streetlights come on is the
Yes,
rule.
that was our rule too. As soon as the street light was like,
Yeah,
okay, it must be time for dinner soon. We'll
yeah,
we'll keep
and
playing
like
tomorrow. Pause the game
I would
here.
be riding my bike everywhere, all over town, like way farther than I had any business being, crossing like major intersections. Like, oh my God.
Like,
Also
also,
in
sorry, Ice
Australia,
Goddess. Sorry, add trampoline
oh,
to female only commune. Yeah! Sorry, what were you going to say?
did you have a game in Australia? Like here we call it Nicky Nicky Nine Doors, or in the States, I think they say Ding Dong Ditch.
Oh, where you go up to like ring
Run,
people's
ring the
doorbells
doorbell
and
and
then
run.
well, most houses didn't have a doorbell here, so I
Wow.
think like teenagers might have done it, but I would never do that because I was still considerably a goody two shoes. Like, I didn't get in much trouble. I was afraid of
Uh,
getting in trouble. It just didn't involve, biting kids or knocking over trampolines. That was all allowed. But
yeah, I totally played Nicky Nicky Nine Doors as a kid with like my neighborhood
little
friends.
little
Because
rebel.
yeah, as a child, like my best friend lived across the street from me, and we were the same age. I was like 2 months older than him, and then
Hmm.
his older brother and his best friend. It was always us. So like me and Mitchell were like 10, and the older brother and his friend were 14, and we would
Oh,
always like terrorize the neighborhood.
oh my god, little
The older
menaces.
boys were old enough to know better, but we were like 10.
Yeah, no, you don't have really any moral compass. I mean, the closest we did to that, there was a payphone box at the end of our street.
Oh
And if you
yeah.
dialed a number, you would get like 3 seconds to talk before you had to put any money in. So we would just like type in random numbers and be like, hello, and hung
Oh
up.
my god. That reminds me of payphones. What we would do is if we didn't have money for a call, you could call collect, which charges the
Hmm.
recipient,
Yes. Yes, we had that
and then
too.
they would say like press 1 to accept a call, right? And so we would dial the collect call to call our parents to come pick us up from the mall or whatever. And we would dial the number and they would say state your name as
Ooh.
on, and so we would be like, "Mom, I'm at the mall, the movie's over, come get me now, bye," and hang up before
Oh.
they could charge the collect call.
Nice.
Yeah,
Gaming the
because they
system.
you'd answer the phone and be like, "Hello," and they'd be like, "Collect call from Mom, the movie's over, come pick us up, I'm at the mall." Oh, we're so old.
Yeah.
There's no payphones exist in my city anymore. There's literally not one
There's
left.
There is a couple, but now ours have been made so they emit free Wi-Fi,
Oh,
um,
neat.
which is kind of cool. But yeah, I've never seen like a person use them. I feel like most of the time it's like cut and stuff.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
surprised when I was in Montreal in June, there were payphones everywhere in that city.
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't seen one of these in years."
yeah. It's very nostalgic to see one. They usually like
Yeah.
abandoned, graffitied.
Yeah. Little booths. Oh my god. Ah, childhood.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah.
Being a feral child.
Those are the days.
Yeah.
This
I
this
also like
girlhood that
yes,
these
well,
Tims are so jealous of.
exactly. And speaking of like girlhood and stuff, like how I think there's got to be something to. Oh, good night, Emerald. Thank you for being here. Um,
Bye.
I feel like there has to be something to like our womanly history as like witches and nurses and like midwives and healers and stuff. Because
Mhm.
why does every single little girl on earth know how to make potions? Like with mud and
Yeah.
water and grass and
I was
leaves and
always
sticks.
making soups, but they same deal, same ingredients.
Like that is like a universal little girl thing. Why do we all know how to do that? It's got to be
Yeah,
like in our DNA somewhere.
yeah. Soup making, potion making. I agree. I made the
Yeah,
mistake
it's like
once. My mom had chili peppers growing in her yard, and I thought they would be good to add to my soup, my mud soup. And I cut them
mhm.
open and like got my fingers all over the seeds, and they
Oh.
burned for like hours and hours and hours.
Oh.
I didn't make so many soups after that, but sorry.
Yeah, I agree with ballistic. It's in our genes. Like I feel like it's like a mitochondrial memory. Like
Mm,
how humans are instinctively afraid of the dark because you don't know what could be out there. You know, our ancestors 20,000 years ago
yeah, or
didn't
afraid
like
of
sleeping in the
heights,
dark.
pretty common.
Right.
Like, or like weary around ledges, sort of thing.
I feel like the potion thing is in our DNA as women and girls. I don't literally mean witchy though. Like I just mean like in like ancient times, like women knew herbal remedies and they were the
Mm,
healers and the caretakers and like they knew
mm,
which plants to use for what. And I just feel like from our hunter gatherer ancestors, that's just like in us.
mm. Yeah, it's kind of nice. It's like a piece of history.
I this reminds me, I recommend the book Witches, Midwives, and Nurses.
Ooh.
It's very easy, short, quick read. I think it's by Barbara Ehrenreich. If I'm spelling that right. It's a really short, quick read, and it is all about the history of women being witches, midwives, and nurses. It's very, very good.
Fair. I don't know, Boyd. I've never seen a boy make a soup. Like they didn't want to play like Mud Pie Kitchen or make soup or make potions. At least that
Oh
was my
yeah.
experience with the boys I grew up with. They were like doing different stuff.
Oh God, ballistic. The other day, I woke up at 3 a.m. and there was a scary ass face looking at me, and then I realized it was my own face in the mirror.
Oh,
Oh,
dang.
oh, see, this one time when I was 15, my parents took my sister and I on a road trip from here in Canada to Mexico.
Mm,
So, and we stopped at like Disneyland and the San Diego Zoo and blah 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 along the way. Anyway, on the way home, we were at this like nothing podunk motel in the middle of nowhere in Idaho, and we didn't
okay.
get there until like 1 in the morning. And it's literally like a motel, like where you drive up to your room door kind of thing.
Mm,
And it was like spooky, and it was the middle of the night, and we get into the motel room, and there was a window like in the upper portion of the wall that had no curtains, so like
ooh.
you could just see out the window. But and my mom was like so spooked, so she wanted to sleep facing the other way because the window freaked her out. But on the other
Mm.
wall was a mirror that reflected the window,
Oh.
and
Oh
there was
no.
no escape from her. And she was so scared the whole night to open her eyes because no matter where she was facing, she might see something spooky.
Oh, poor thing. Gosh. I mean, quality per dunk hotel stay.
No,
That's
it
just
was
what
a
you get.
mess. Yeah. Oh, it was so funny. Good times. Good times.
Yeah. Oh. Getting sleepy? Do you need to have a little nana nap?
Oh, it's almost my bedtime. It's quarter
A
to
little grandma
8.
snooze? Oh my god.
Listen, I have to get up at 6:45 every day.
Oh, poor Nana.
I know. Sad. Sad. But what are you doing the rest of your day?
I'm probably gonna work on pages.
Oh,
The
good.
huge. So, maybe play with the cats. Probably gonna have some food right after this stream. Gonna make some bangers and mash.
Ooh, yum.
Yes, with some gravy and no cheese because that's poutine and that's silly.
I am getting a Hello Fresh box delivered tomorrow.
Oh, and by the way, this video is sponsored by.
I wish. Yeah, that's like the highlight of my week right now. Bangers or
And
sausages?
yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we wrap up ish?
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, I'm gonna go to bed soon. You're gonna. Oh wait, is HelloFresh any good? It's. I think it is. I think it's too expensive to do every week, but I do like maybe once a month or every 6 weeks. I get one.
Okay,
I think it's good. The quality of the produce and the meat is always fine. Um,
that's good to know.
yeah, so I like
But yeah,
it.
it's not the replacement for the YouTube ads always make it seem like, oh, like don't you just hate going to the grocery store?
Oh yeah,
Like
no.
you can just replace it. It's like, yeah, if I'm making the advertisement money these YouTubers are making, maybe.
Yeah. No, it's like a every now and again thing, but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So thank you everybody for coming this evening. I
Mwah, mwah.
appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you, Rusty, for always being down to hop on with me.
Of course. Thank you.
Um, so let's see. I do have a meme review like ready to go. It just needs to go,
Hell yeah.
frankly.
Hell
So
yeah.
probably soon we'll do that. I'm maybe and yeah, maybe that would be one where you can get you, me, and Lisa.
Hell yeah. Trio. Triple trouble.
Yeah. So yes, okay, so thank you, thank you. I don't have any business to cover. This was fun. Thanks for all the great combo and great points.
Yes, it was
And
great.
the smart, wonderful women and Adrian who are here.
Women and children of women, Adrian.
Yes, exactly. Okay, well, have a great rest of your day. It's bedtime
Yep.
for the rest of us.
Yes.
But
Everyone else have a great sleep. I'll continue to be awake.
okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, bye, bye.